I mean, you have people like Claire Bonworth that out of 10 races this year, she podiumed 7 out of the 10. I mean, we want to start throwing around podiums. I mean, just saying.
Who?
Claire Bonworth.
You sure you don't mean Gallagher?
No. BANNWARTH, Bonworth.
I think my favorite part is Jason missed the countdown, and I was just going to let him roll with it.
Did it start?
Yep.
All right. Welcome to another edition of the Trail Trash Podcast. Jason, Garrett, John here. Jason too busy trashing people that he don't care about before the show started. However, we are ready to roll. We are ready to roll tonight, and we are going to talk UROY or Ultra Runner of the Year. And in my mind, there is only one person that should qualify as the Ultra Runner of the Year, and then everybody else can just fall in line. Like we said last week, there's Courtney.
Jason's going for a 5-minute episode here. He's got Murder, She Wrote to watch, and then he's got to go to bed. So he's clearly just cutting to the chase on who's who here.
I'm cutting to the chase because I got my person, and you know what? Her statistics speak for herself. But no, anyway, we're going to break it down. We got males and females, and then we got the overall. I think I joke because we have spoke all year long about how strong Courtney DeWalter has been. The things that she's accomplished this year has been absolutely just whack out crazy. But we'll come back to her. On a positive note, for those of you who really don't give a damn anymore but still have to hear me, my foot is doing much better. I've been able to run pretty much pain-free all week after the old steroid shot. I have ran 10 miles the last 2 days. Ran outside with my top training partners, Will and Kara, yesterday, which was fun. Always fun when you run with Will because you never quite know what he is going to say. And we had a phenomenal time running. Even though it was only for an hour, it was good stuff. Today I kept it indoors. Caught up on For Mankind, which is a terrific show on Apple TV. Watched episode 9, which was Brazil, and man, I am.
That's an underrated show. I wish more people knew about that show. It's
blessed. Good. Oh my gosh, that show's so good, man! It's so good. I got done watching it and was wanting to see a trailer for the next episode, and there was no trailer, and I was seriously disappointed. I was hurt, but no longer hurt physically. So
were you foot hurt or butt hurt about it?
I was butt hurt about it, but
okay.
but on a positive note, I think I said it. I don't know if I said it last week, but I am going to try some Topo Specters. I've been in the Ultra FWDs and had no problems this week. Still going to be taking it easy. Not going to do anything stupid. Going to work up into some big miles, and then hopefully after this show ends, I'm going to schedule some mountain time with John Horner.
Yeah, John. Let's dive into that real quick. So, happy birthday, by the way. Our present to you.
I've now entered the pre-masters division.
Well, maybe one day we'll age into Boston then, you and I together. So, we are going to plan a weekend. We'll probably meet you halfway somewhere and just get a nice little Saturday long run in, the three of us. So, not sure when, but we will make it happen very soon.
Garrett actually, his words when he texted me was frozen head or bust. Yeah, he said something about challenge loop, or bust or something like that. I have no idea what that meant,
well,
but I think
know where I said that. You got the right Garrett.
So yeah, for all the time I've spent in Tennessee and running the trails up here, I've never been to Frozen Head, so I need to get over there. I would love to go do a challenge loop though, and just watch Jason take Quitter's Road.
I can tell you when Will and I went to the fire tower, that was a treat. We had a good time.
Yeah.
That was not a long day, but it was fun nonetheless.
Yeah,
But
and for those who don't know, what the challenge loop is up at Frozen Head where they have the Barkley Marathons. You can take some trails on the outer perimeter of the park. It's about 20-ish miles with close to 7,000 feet of elevation gain.
yep.
And the leaderboard on that Strava segment, which we wouldn't be competitive on that, we couldn't hold a candle to any of those guys. It's just absolutely stacked with talent and heavily disputed.
Who is it now? Is it Joe Jude that owns that one? I think he owns it. I think he owns it, and I think Kelly went out to take it, and Kelly could not take it back from Joe Jude.
I don't know. When I talked to Joe the other day, he made it sound like he's not going out to Frozen Head for a while. He said,
Well, it's because he already has all the freaking records out there. He went out there like in a week and took every single. I think he took every single segment. I think and every single course out there from John Kelly.
insert Michael Jordan, and I took that personally.
Right, exactly. I mean, to the point where John was like, "I'm going to take it back," and went out and couldn't do it. Anyway, yeah, that would be fun. But regardless of when Garrett and I do it, John, I want to plan on probably a solo excursion down there so we can do some mountain yogging. Because I don't see me in my current state of fitness being able to do a whole lot of running, but I could do some jogging. So anyhow, now with that being said,
does have the CR on that still in 3 hours and 14 minutes.
Who does?
Joe Jude.
Yep. That dude is so freaking fast.
Dude, I just love his story. I just love his story about winning. What was that race that Will went and ran that now I can never remember?
Cloud Splitter?
Yes. Yeah. Basically just kind of showed up in the end and they didn't give him a bunch of fanfare because they're like, what do you mean you won? Like,
yeah. Well, he was one of my favorite interviews. And I can't get into a lot of it because a lot of it happened off camera, but the guy is really fascinating. Just a really fascinating guy, super fast, really talented, and doesn't really do a ton of stuff. He just kind of goes out there and does whatever he wants when he wants, and that's how he rolls, which is just amazing. So. How freaking fast he is.
Anyways, I would have loved to take Jason out on the sloop yesterday and watch him try to climb up this rickety fire tower.
Dude, I would not have done that. That is similar to when Kara and Will and I went out and did that. Went to Fontana and went up to what's that first fire tower? Shuckstack. And we got about halfway up those stairs, and Will looked at me, and I looked at him, and we were like, "Nope," because it was extremely windy, to the point where it was moving us on those stairs. And he looked at me, and I looked at him, and we're like, "Nope." But there was like some 70-year-old guy that was down there with his wife at the base, and he was like, "You boys going up to the top?" And we're like, "Yep." He's like, "It's a little sketchy once you get to the top. Some of those planks feel like they're going to give out on you, but just keep going up and you'll be fine." And I was like,
Yeah, this fire tower went up yesterday. So it's on the summit of Mount Sterling, which sits at about 5,800 feet. And interestingly enough, this is the highest fire tower in terms of elevation in the eastern United States that's still standing. But it was originally built in 1932 by the Civilian Conservation Corps, and it's still there today. And it was a little windy, not very windy. The wind warnings had actually died down by the time I went out to run. but it was just windy enough to make your palms just a little bit sweaty as you climb up those super narrow stairs and going back down as well.
Fun fact: the last time that tower was upgraded was 1934.
Jason remembers it.
Yeah, exactly. I was
But
there.
you know
I
what?
was
I
there. I
got to
worked.
the
I
top
worked
and
on
the
it.
clouds flew over, just long enough to get, a spectacular view. So it was worth it.
Oh, that's awesome. So, with that being said, let's jump into our top ultra runners of the year. Let's start with the men's side.
Want to start with just like the ultra runners of the year? You want to start with performances?
Let's go runners of the year and then performance.
Okay.
Let's start with the men's side, then we'll do female, and then we'll do overall. So, men, who do you guys have?
I mean,
I feel like this is an interesting because I feel like compared to the women, we don't have one just like clear cut. Okay, this person is it.
True.
There's definitely a few people in the discussion, right?
True.
Right.
And you have to throw everyone's most likely winner, Jim Walmsley, into that. I mean, you have to, just because of what he did at UTMB. Finally, an American wins the race. But he only ran 4 races this year. So it's not like he had a packed calendar.
Body of work.
So he did 100K in September, UTMB, and then he did another French race that I'm not even going to try to say.
Oui.
Right. And then where is this one? I think it's the Netherlands flag. I can't tell. But Istria 100, and that's a UTMB. It's a by UTMB race. And, of course, he took first in all of them. But I have to give it to Jim just because of UTMB, whether or not he is actually the ultra runner of the year. And I guess we should preface all that by saying we didn't give some of the ground rules. We're not limiting this to like Trail Runner Mag, where they have to live in the States or they have to live in the state or have dual, whatever their weird stipulation is. If you're an ultra runner, cool, we'll think about you.
So it's a North American award. You either have to be a North American resident or spend a majority of your time living in the States.
Got it. So I don't know who they're going to give it to because Walmsley didn't do that, I don't think. I'm pretty sure.
He's an American resident.
But he spends most of his time in France.
Or citizen, I guess, is a better
term.
So
I'm just going to keep saying oui.
That's about the only French word you know. And croissant.
French fries. Also, no.
I'm giving it my ultra runner of the year. I'm going to go with Jim just because he finally got the monkey off his back after coming so close. That's who I'm going with. Whether it's right or wrong, I'm giving it to him.
Yeah, I mean, UTMB course record, which is just a stellar performance on the world's biggest stage. That's definitely worth a lot.
Are we going Harvey? Are we going top?
I'm going Harvey. I'm going Harvey Lewis. I've got to go with Harvey Lewis. 450 miles in 108 hours. I mean, come on, guys.
But if that's all he did this year, and I think one of the things you have to look at is you have to look at body of work. And again, we've already said it. Jim didn't have a huge body of work. And I don't have Harvey's results pulled up. But what else did he do?
Well, I mean, for that matter, we could talk about Jeff Browning. He had a pretty good year. Cocodona, I think he won Cocodona and he won Bighorn. He finished 5th at Hard Rock. He took 2nd at Wasatch. And he's 52 years old. Just saying.
So why not give him your nod then?
I mean, he's probably right up there with Harvey Lewis for me. I mean, that's pretty daggum impressive for a 52-year-old guy to be. He's 5th at Hard Rock, I mean, that's impressive enough I mean, that's
At
a
any
big
age.
stage. That's a big
Yeah.
stage. And being 52 and being able to accomplish that is pretty damn impressive. Just saying.
I think it would be totally on par for me to be the one that makes a questionable comment. But Pretty Ricky did say age ain't nothing but a number.
Pretty much.
So
I mean the guy is impressive. He is in just super impressive. And I don't have the rest of Harvey's races in front of me. I just know that 450 miles is basically, in my mind, equivalent to Jim's UTMB win from the standpoint of Jim did a bunch of smaller races. Harvey did a bunch of, I don't want to say smaller races, but both of them did lesser than, well, I mean, Harvey did Badwater.
Mm-hmm.
I know he did Badwater, and I think he was, I don't know, top 2 or 3 in that probably. And
I have Harvey second on my list for what it's worth.
Yeah. I mean, that's tough. I mean, those two guys are definitely high up. I think Jeff Browning is high up based off of based off of his age and what he's accomplished this year. I mean, it's huge. He won 5 ultras in 6 months.
And then I have to give third place to my man crush. Not even a real man crush, just an effort crush. I'm going third place in Zach Miller.
All right.
So, yeah. He won Tarawera. He won Tarawera in February. And if Ultra Running Magazine had a comeback player of the year, I think he gets comeback player of the year too. He's the DeMar Hamlin this year, or the Joe Flacco of ultra running after his recent injury spell for the past couple years. To come back, take second at UTMB, to win Tarawera, to take 6th at the World Mountain and Trail Running Championships. I give him third place.
So I have a question.
Fire away.
Where does Tommy Rivers fall into this? Because this guy came back from cancer and ran Boston this year.
But he did that last year too.
Well,
I would have given it to him last year.
I guess so. I mean, I think the fact that he's still cruising like he is after going through what
and with the type of cancer he had, that isn't a question. My understanding of that type of cancer isn't a question of if it comes back, but when it comes back. So I would give it to him last year for sure.
I don't think did he run Boston last year? I think he did New York last year, and he did Boston this year.
I thought he did Boston both years, but feel free to fact check me. I'm probably wrong. My bad joke is I'm a married man, which means I'm wrong all the time.
Oh my gosh.
Dude, when people ask me questions at one of my side jobs, that is very much the response that I give them all the time. I'm like, well, we may have it in the back, but I'm a married man, which means I'm wrong all the time. So let me go check for you.
Well, I think, those guys definitely, and I think ultimately Jim probably is the guy just because of his performance at UTMB, him winning it.
Now, all that being said, though, I don't give him the performance of the year for that. Performance of the year I give to Harvey, because if the guy who got the assist was still running, I think Harvey would still be running too. Like, I don't think they'd ever stop. Yeah. And Harvey, I forget which podcast he was in, but he talked about it. He's like, I will not stop. Like, there's not a part of me that wants to stop ever. And you heard it in his voice, and you saw it in his eyes when he said that. He firmly believes that. And so he's very much the Forrest Gump right now of Finally he gets tired of running, I guess. But just going and going and going.
Well,
but yeah, so I give Harvey my performance of the year for backyard. Absolutely.
so anybody else worth throwing out there other
You
than
could
the
throw
ones
Tom
we
Evans. I mean, you could throw Tom Evans just because
Tom
Dylan.
Evans Tom Evans wouldn't qualify. He's British.
Well, we're going worldwide here. We're not North
You're going
American.
worldwide?
Yeah, minus the Japanese that none of us know, which I'm sure that there are multiples. So, yeah. But Tom Evans on Dylan Bowman's, because Dylan Bowman is taking a more global approach. He went fourth on Dylan Bowman's, and he hasn't released his top three yet. He went second at Black Canyon, first at Ultra Trail Snowdonia, whatever that is. It's a 50K, and then first at States. So I just don't think he has a strong enough resume, but you could make the argument for it.
I mean, if you're doing that, then you could say Matthew Blanchard.
Yeah, for his placement at UTMB. So
I don't know. So
John,
we got our
yours?
Yep.
Easy with your mic there, man. You need to beat
I
it.
was trying to get my drink, and I was so excited to get my drink, I hit my freaking mic. Need my water.
Right. So. I'm sure there's some.
John's going to name some obscure guy like from South Dakota.
What he's going to do is he's going to spell it and ask you to pronounce it now that you're fluent in Japanese.
Well, while John is still looking, I think John already said Walmsley.
No, I was going to say like a couple other notables that should probably be on the list. As long as we're keeping it to a North American scope, you'd probably have to mention Tyler Green, Dakota Jones, and Arlen Glick in there.
You can mention them, but
I was going to mention Dakota Jones.
Yeah, he's got a stout resume for sure.
He does.
He's kind of an under the radar runner too. He kind of was I don't want to say at one point like the future of ultra running, because I think he kind of came onto the scene at a relatively young age, when kind of before Walmsley really took the sport by storm, and then just kind of fell off and kind of went radio silent for a while, and then just stormed back. So, or at least it seemed that way, because I stopped hearing about him for a while.
We got anything else on the male side before we move to the old female side?
I don't know. Do you want to cover the performance of the year or move on to the women?
I say we move on to the women, and we come back to performance of the year after the women. All right. So,
all right. Go ahead and give us your obvious answer.
I got two, and I would obviously Courtney runs away with it. But my notable person, I am going to throw out Candace Burt as my second. I feel strongly about her because she finished her streak of consecutive ultramarathons at 200.
Did you see how many miles she finished the year with?
I did not. But what's
like
crazy,
7,700 miles.
What's crazy about that is in the middle of all that, she did the Hurt 100.
Yeah, and that counted as one of her 50Ks.
Right, and then she did an ultra before and after that. So yeah, so she's second.
On top of that, she's working on permits as an RD for her 200s.
I mean, just remarkable, inspirational, a great ambassador to the sport. Candace checks off all the boxes, and had to deal with all the stupid BS of people body shaming her because she was thin during all that, which is like no crap. I mean, let me tell you what, 99.9% of us, if we were running that much, we would look exactly the same way. I mean, hell, I barely have hit 1,500 miles this year and lost 10 pounds between February and right now. So
you can lose a lot more when you come out here to run.
You lose 10 pounds of water weight that day.
That probably doesn't include the bear that John's going to feed me to. I probably
Right.
walk out probably 10 pounds lighter.
Right. The shit you're
but
gonna drop when you see the bear chasing you.
Right, but I think it's fair to say, Courtney is the one. I mean, she basically brought home all three of the super big races, set course records, did it all like in a very short turnaround time. She's just, I mean, I have no words. I mean, I think we spent like a whole podcast talking about how amazing she was.
Well, at least Jason is the president of the Camille. Oh, I'm sorry, of the Courtney DeWalter fan club.
I am because she is when you talk about an ambassador to the sport, she's got a positive attitude. She never ever talks trash openly about people. She doesn't toot her own horn like some other people do all the time.
Who does that?
She doesn't. I'm not naming names. No name drops here. She's not trying to
cause any emotional trauma.
She doesn't tear other ultra runners' performances down when they, compete and win races. She is just an all-around great person.
She was first place in every race in 23 except Javelina, which she ran with her parents or her mom or her dad, one of them.
Dude, that is absurd. Absurd.
First place in every single race. You have the Bandera 100K. She was first place. Trans Gran Canaria, States, Hard Rock, UTMB.
Dude,
yeah.
Have you ever seen that meme with the minion wearing the crown with the mic drop and he walks off? Mm-hmm. That is basically Courtney.
I believe she was top 10 in each of those except UTMB, where she was 25th. If I'm reading UTMB's website right. No. Because they have it by time, rank, and gender. And she was top 10 in each of those minus UTMB.
So those are my top two. And I know Candace is questionable.
I think that's very questionable. Not because what Candace did was not impressive. It was. But I think closely followed behind Courtney would be Katie Scheid.
I was going to say her. That's a good one.
List her off.
No, you weren't.
No way.
In any other year,
she was on my radar, actually, believe it or not.
I don't believe it. No, any other year that Courtney would have been at the top of this, Katie would be up there, just because she also ran under course record time at Western States, which is just huge. And had several other great performances as well. Unlike whatever performance Jason has given us right now on camera.
So what's Katie's stats? Because I think it's first place is a clear one. I think it's an argument for second place.
Yeah, John, why don't you give her stats? Why don't? Why don't you? Yeah, John, do me a favor. Why don't you pronounce that French race that she won? Go right ahead, buddy.
Which French race? Diagonal de Fou.
De Fou? Are you sure that's right?
Yeah, Diagonal de Fou.
I don't know about that. We need to get somebody French on to double check.
John is to French as to what you are to Japanese.
Oh no, you're looking at the OCC.
And I am to HR what you two are to each of your respective languages.
No. The OCC is that's one of the UTMB races. That's the 50-55K distance. You can just say OCC.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone knows what OCC is. Well, they know what you're talking about, but no one knows what it stands for. So why don't you go ahead and try to southernize that for us?
Or say Champagne, Chamonix.
Come on, Jason. Rattle that off.
No, thank you.
My argument for second place, I'm not saying she is second place, but she's worth mentioning. Sally McRae.
I mean, that's a good one. She did win the Triple Crown of 200s.
Mm-hmm. So she had Moab, where she was first female, 12th overall. She had Bigfoot, where she was ninth female, 52nd overall. Tahoe, 200, third female, 11th overall. And Cocodona, where she was fourth female, 22nd overall. And then in March, she did the Jackpot Ultras, where she was fourth female, 9th overall. And that's a 100-mile USATF national championship. So winning the Triple Crown of 200s and running 3 200-mile races in the span of July to October, the end of July to the second weekend in October. That's pretty stout in its own right.
Yeah, she had a big year. There's no doubt.
Yeah.
There's no doubt.
She is who I would give my second place to. Now, whether she is or not, she's who I give my nod for. But I'm so glad that we're not Hall of Fame voters.
I would love to be a Hall of Fame voter along
Why
with
not?
Jason, just so I could tell him how much he's wrong all the time.
I was thinking about her. No, you weren't.
I was. She was on my list. I've got a list. I can,
like 10th or 9th.
No, she was fourth on my list.
Behind. Who was third?
Behind. Capacity to include her on your list, because all your mental capacity is focused on about thinking about Camille.
Camille was third on his list, everyone.
We do not mention.
And the only reason she wasn't second is because she walked out on her teammates. That's the answer he's going to give.
She may not be first on Jason's list, but she's still first in his heart.
Yes. Jason's going to show up at her next race, number 1 on the track and number 1 in my heart.
Don't even make the list.
You know what? Next time, someone on this podcast makes a bet with Jason, we need to include that somewhere within the confines of the terms of the bet.
Absolutely.
I don't think so.
He needs to make that his social media profile picture for a month. You know that guy that's always like standing out holding cardboard signs? Jason has to take that guy, that pose, and put Camille number 1 on the track and number 1 in my heart, and make that his social media pictures for a month just to see.
Yeah,
well, I would share that every single day. I would make sure as many people as followed me, and the few number that followed me.
Will sent me that one.
We can see what that is.
That's her. That's all you need to know.
Okay.
And then I got that one.
Arms up in triumph because she's finally won your heart.
When
another one.
I got a question about this. When we went to go run Tunnel Hill and she was the guest speaker there, did you meet her then?
Oh, he fangirled.
Nope. No, we went
from afar.
No, we didn't. At Tunnel Hill, no, I don't even remember seeing her. Other than her.
Yeah, she was there when we were at packet pickup.
Only I didn't see her at packet pickup because we got there early so we could go eat.
Yeah, because I rode with her to packet pickup, and then we hopped in this Dragon wagon and ate it like a Cheddar's.
Yeah, I didn't even pay any attention to her. Nope.
He didn't want to make it obvious his love for her.
Nope.
He said, I gotta play it cool, otherwise she's on to me.
She would have been like, "Oh, this is the guy that slid into my DMs last night."
John, who's your female?
For what?
Well, he already gave it. He said Katie Schide.
He didn't say Katie Schide was his.
He said Katie Schide.
He said it was worth considering.
That's basically like John saying that's his pick.
No. I'm saying she. I think she's clearly number 2 on this list.
Okay.
Right. There you go. I just said it.
I think so. Since we're already talking about females, let's just go ahead and go with the female performance of the year. Are you giving it to Courtney?
I'm giving it to Courtney's Western States performance.
And not her.
Yeah.
her Grand Slam or whatever they want to call it, the Triple Crown. Not necessarily the Triple Crown, but the.
I mean, if we're defining this as a singular performance and I have to pick one, then Western States is the most impressive out of those three.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I'm with John on that one.
So, for the sake of arguing, can you compare the Triple Crown, which is 3, but you sign up for one event? You can sign up for the Triple Crown itself, which is all 3 races.
No, it's still one. It's still one race. You're trying to give Sally credit. No, it's one.
I'm playing devil's advocate here.
Well, you can take your devil and stick it where the sun don't shine. You're cheating.
Fair enough.
Stop cheating.
So, I mean, Courtney gets it. Courtney gets it because it's Courtney. I'm just trying to make the case for someone else to have a chance.
There is no case for anyone else on the female side.
Okay. So if we're all in accord there, then let's just hop on over to the men. And I think it's harder. It's not harder because to me it's Harvey Lewis, and I said it earlier, it's Harvey. What he did and the fact that he would probably still be running if someone was out there running with him is asinine.
Yeah, I mean that's got to be the performance of the year. I think Jim is probably the ultra.
More of a discussion on this actually.
Of course we are, because he's going to drop some random Romanian dude who ran.
It's not a Romanian dude. We're talking about a North American award. Remember?
Okay, fine.
So what about so how do we compare that to Charlie Lawrence's 50-mile world record at Tunnel Hill?
No, still no.
I mean, it's worth considering.
Not really.
It's a world record.
Not really. No, it's just 50 miles.
In the past 40 years, only one other person has run within 2 minutes of the 50-mile time he ran there.
Man, Jason's just shutting everything down.
Give me my Harvey Lewis shirt. Where is it?
If you don't think anyone...
Harvey Lewis, number one at Biggs, number one in my heart.
See, here's my thing. If you look at the history of 6-day races, people have run that mileage that Harvey ran within that same period. No one's ever run 50 miles in 4 hours and 46 minutes.
Would you give it, and I'm asking Jason this, would you give it more credit if it wasn't Tunnel Hill? If you ran it on maybe... Well, I'm just saying if maybe it was
no, because I think flat races are just as challenging as mountain races in their own right. It's a different style of race, and that's one thing that I felt like Camille made a very valid point at when she was debating with what's his name, what's the one that comments on everybody's post. The other one I don't care about, Sage Canaday. How can you have two people that both of them together in the same post? It was just like the ultimate storm of people that comment on other people's stuff together, commenting together. And you know what? She was spot on because it's two different types of running. And flat running is hard because it's the repetition. You're using the same muscles over and over again. Unlike a mountain run where you're constantly changing, climbing, and on the flats and on the downs, it's completely different things. So the 15-mile record was phenomenal. I just don't think it's up against Harvey's run.
But wow, what makes the 450-mile performance Harvey did more impressive than a 50-mile world record?
Because I think his cardboard sign that says Harvey Lewis, number one at Biggs and number one in my heart.
I think because of the fact,
which on the flip side of that sign is the Camille love.
I think when you look at it, and I'm not taking anything away from that 50-mile record, it's phenomenal, it's incredible, in its own right. I think when you look at having to run consistently as long as he did without sleep, having to maintain
done that before.
Nutrition, not at the level he did it at.
Yes, I have. Are you familiar with the history of 6-day races?
I have, but Harvey is Harvey. And I still think it's good.
Harvey didn't start every loop with a sprint. Jason's just all caught up on the sprint that Harvey would do to start every loop
That's right.
with a smile.
Would you change clothes? You turn your camera off or something? Garrett,
No.
your camera went off for a while.
No, it didn't. You're wrong about that too.
Nope.
Jason's got that wacky internet tonight.
He's got that wacky internet every night. He's gonna make fun of your camera when he's sitting over here with like 6 pixels for a face.
Looking like a Minecraft character over here.
It really does.
You know why, don't you? Because it always chooses the wrong network.
Only a bad carpenter blames his tools too.
Products at once.
Dude, oh my god, I gotta take a picture. Now I cannot unsee this Minecraft.
I love Minecraft.
Of course you do. Because you look like one.
Mm-hmm. All right. I just finally changed my internet to the right one. It's been on the wrong one the entire time.
Whatever you say.
Yeah.
Minecraft.
That's right. So we're just so John will stop crying, we'll make his 50-mile performance the performance of the year. And
as I send it to you.
That's fantastic.
So, yeah,
I look great.
There you go.
I look great.
For Minecraft characters, you sure do.
I do. So we'll go with John's 50-mile guy, and then we got
Mr.
Courtney
Lawrence. He has a name.
Whatever, and we have Courtney for Western, and then is he also your ultra runner of the year, John? You got like a poster of him back there in the background or something?
No, we just spent like 15 or 20 minutes talking about our male ultra runners of the year.
I didn't know if you wanted to change your mind now since you've, became an official
Mr.
fan
Charlie
club.
Lawrence.
Fan club.
Presidente. El Presidente.
El Presidente. No, obviously in my mind, in my vote is Courtney. So overall.
That's because you're the president of the fan club there.
Yeah. It's what?
How's it feel being the president of 2 fan clubs? 3 fan clubs.
You know what? I honestly feel like if she did not have such a great outlook on things, and was just so positive and just so freaking nice, man, it's hard not to give her the nod.
I think my favorite thing about Courtney is when she really took the scene, like really started to blow up. She wasn't a full-time runner. She was a teacher.
Yep.
So I don't think she teaches anymore, but
no, she's a full-time.
She wasn't coach. She's just going out running in Solomon basketball shorts and
I don't know what you're
races.
About. She schools everybody she lines up against at the races.
Who?
Oh, he came in with a dad joke. It's all. Surprised you didn't throw that one out there, Garrett.
Yeah. Maybe she ran ran those in Air Monarchs.
Maybe so.
Yeah.
So, all right. So we got our performances. We have our ultra runners. So we have Charlie with the 50. We have Courtney with Western. And then we have Jim with the male side. We have Courtney with the female side. And then overall, we have Courtney as the overall. I think we can all agree on that.
Unless there's some Japanese guy that John knows of that ran 205 50-milers in a row.
Maybe.
No, because then he wouldn't be applicable for the North American award.
No. Just for the case of arguing.
You guys are having too much fun with the pictures.
I mean, Mr. Pixels.
Mm-hmm.
So, Is
I
there
need to make sure.
anything? I think we've at this point. I think we finally beat 23 into the ground with everything that we've done, from our personal recaps to Ultra Runner of the Year stuff. Before we officially put the dirt on the casket, is there anything about 23 that's worth re-mentioning or mentioning that we maybe have not talked about? I don't think so. I think we beat 23 into the ground. Thank God.
No, I can't. I can't think of anything.
You want to give a Yeti 23 recap again?
You know what I'm thinking about? I don't have to. Will made a wonderful video of it.
That was really good. It was really good. I've watched it. I finally got to watch it all. I had to watch it in bits and pieces, but he did a really good job. So.
For our listeners who haven't seen it, it's on YouTube. It's on the Ultra Running Bites YouTube channel. Go watch it.
He makes high quality stuff, and I'm not just saying that because he is a dear friend, but he does make really high quality videos. Spends a ton of time. Really, really good stuff. So definitely check it out. He's got far more better videos than watching me at the Yeti. So
And
check
that's
some
the
of that.
nicest thing Jason will ever publicly say about Will.
Yep.
Yeah, probably.
That's more than Will would say about you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. I sent him a picture of my dinner last night, and he sent because we went out to Bonefish, and
did you get bang bang shrimp?
No, I got the special, whatever the special was. They had some pork chop on special, which was fantastic.
So the leftovers from the day before that they couldn't get rid of, so they decided to make it a special so they can get rid of the rest.
Exactly.
So
it was like a Marcella style pork chop.
You went to a seafood place and got a pork chop.
Yeah. It was the top thing on their specials list. Believe it or not.
The top thing or the first thing that you just happened to read?
No, it was the top thing.
Okay.
So
you didn't get your senior discount, did you?
I asked.
Flash them that AARP card.
I get them one every other week.
You're just counting down so you can get that get the official sign up on that.
Mm-hmm. So, we got any hot takes this week?
I think you gave yours about how a 50-mile world record is not in comparison to a 6-day run.
No.
That Forrest Gump could have done.
Forrest Gump isn't real.
Don't take that from me.
I do have one hot take, and I'll say this, and we missed one of the best fantasy shows to do a run with, and that was Game of Thrones. A listener said we missed the mark by not having a Game of Thrones style race.
That's fair. I will give them that. But I'm also not a big Game of Thrones fan. And I think the reason is because I'm just not, like, I read the books first. I read the first 2 books and then tried to watch the first 2 seasons. And they were so different because of budget. And I get it. Like, you don't know how good this show is going to be. And you don't expect it to blow up like that. But the books were just so much better that I gave up on the show, and then I just never got around to finishing the rest of the books because life.
I did it the other way around. I watched the shows, then read the books. And,
and I think the biggest thing that I wish they did back in the first season is when Tyrion is in charge of basically running that one side of the flank, and they basically send him out there to die. In the show, he turns around to say something, and everybody just runs over him, and he kind of gets trampled on and gets stuck there in the mud, and is in there. He's there until the battle ends. In the book, dude's a badass. Kills a horse with the spike of his helmet while he's like running under the horse. Like, that kind of did the show for me. I was like, man, you're gonna leave that epic scene out where he just slays a bunch of people, including a horse. Like, and I get it, budget. There's probably a whole lot that goes into making a war scene like that. But like Randy Johnson, for that reason, I'm out, dog. It's a no for me, dog.
That's right.
So,
Well, that was all I
Randy
had.
Johnson. That's the pitcher. Randy Jackson, the singer. Wrong Randy there. Wrong Big Randy.
You mean Journey legend Randy Jackson?
Anybody else got anything?
I don't have a hot take this week. I didn't see any runners doing. Here's my hot take: Zone 2 running shit. I hate it. I hate running that slow. It's embarrassing. I understand the science behind it, but it doesn't do anything for my morale. And I can't wait for 2 weeks when your coach comes on and I can ask him what can make me feel more confident about running so slow. So, I mean, I get the science behind it. I understand it. But when I'm out there and I get passed by a lady power walking her dog on the other side of the street, doesn't make me exactly feel good.
Yeah,
So like on the other night, there was a guy. I'm coming around this turn because I took this little side street, and he comes up, and I'm sitting there trying to stay slow, and I'm like, man, this dude's gonna pass me, and I can't have that happen. Sure enough, he does, and I'm like, don't do it, don't do it, don't do it, don't do it. Finally, there's this little hill that comes up into our neighborhood. I was like, man, I got to do this. And so finally, I was like, screw it. And I just said, see ya, Zone 2, and took off. And it wasn't even Zone 2. I get back, and I'm still in like the low Zone 3s. So I still need to slow down even more, which is a whole other level. But yeah, I have this thing that when people pass me and I know that I'm faster than them because I hear this dude, nothing against this dude, like power to him. But I'm sitting there just doing my casual breathing, clearly not working very hard because it's Zone 2. And this guy comes past. And I was like, man, I can't have this. I can't have it. So I had to. So I dropped the hammer. And I didn't feel bad about it. I still don't feel bad about it. So yeah, my hot take is I hate slow running, personally. So there you go.
Well, I guess that's it then. It doesn't like John's got anything.
Not a hot take, but leash your dogs when you're in public.
Oh, for sure. With Jason Green, absolutely.
Oh, yeah, I've been chased a ton of times running around here, so I agree with that.
If that was to happen to you, what happened to him? Would you carry anything additional for a while, like as a precaution, especially if you're running in the same area that this event happened? Would you carry something like, I don't know, dogs?
No, I just wouldn't. I just wouldn't run there anymore.
So you would completely alter where you ran based on one event.
Mm-hmm.
For a little bit, or as a permanent thing?
I would for a little bit, just check it out and see later on.
Like surfers who get bit by sharks, that still go surf in the same spot.
Yeah,
well, you would not be the surfer that surfed in the same spot.
Yeah, no. And I think before we wrap things up, I would like to say that as much as I joke and bash on certain runners, it's all just a joke. It's all just for fun and games and stuff like that. At the end of the day, all these people are super talented, far more talented than I will ever be in my entire lifetime times 10. I have like maybe 2% of their
attitude, Mr. Pessimist.
Yeah, I have like 2% of their ability. I think a lot of times comments are made and stuff like that based off of behaviors of certain people that should be, I think, better ambassadors at times, and that's it. So, but
I don't disagree with you at all.
So, with that being said, that is it for this week. We will catch you guys later. Next week is the Snowball, I believe, where John is going to go out and win the event overall.
Win the 12-hour.
12-hour. So I will be out there.
Maybe I'll just drop down to the 6-hour just to spite Will. What do you guys think?
That would be fun.
He's going to hear this and he's going to make a drive up to a certain apartment complex and be like, "Listen here, motherfucker." So.
Good. I want him to be anxious.
So it's going to be fun. John's going to be out there. I'm going to be out there for. I'm going to ride up with Will and volunteer for the amount of time that Will is there, which is going to be at least 6 hours, and so it'll be fun helping out and watching some folks hit goals and do really cool stuff. And looking forward to seeing everybody out there. So until then, we will see you guys later. Everybody has himself a great evening.